Welcome to the We Are ND Nation podcast. I am Evan J. Thomas. With me always is Dennis Stober. Today we'll recap Notre Dame, actually number 5 now, Notre Dame going into college.
In one poll.
Going into College Station, Texas, and taking down number 20, Texas A&M, 23-13, and what people are calling Marcus Freeman's biggest win to date. Matt Shelton and I are happy that Dennis was wrong on his prediction last week.
Me too.
What?
I said I was happy too.
I bet you were. And we will also preview the home opener this week as the Irish take on Northern Illinois. And I will have some fan questions for you. And we have a new segment called Our Idiot of the Week. So we each picked one. We're going to say why that person is the
I might even have a runner-up sometimes.
For you to I mean, I could probably throw in a few people after that, but one would be a whole group of people. But anyway.
Right.
Let's go into the first segment. So let's take our take of the game. So Notre Dame wins 23-13. I do have to say, I picked the spread. I didn't pick the score, but I said 10 points.
Yeah, your score was ridiculous. Any of these cats, I was looking at these scores. They were going back thinking Notre Dame was going to hang this many points on and this and that. With, again, a new offensive line, which we saw in that first half. They were getting walked back a lot. Granted, Now they're going to say, oh, but they didn't give up any sacks. I don't know if that's as much as the O-line as Riley feeling the pressure and getting out of there before a sack comes, because he did step up a lot. He didn't impress me all that much, but he got the win, and I'm happy they got a win and got out of there with the win, because that could have easily went my prediction. I mean, because let's face facts, it was a fourth quarter and it was tied up.
Yeah.
And if they didn't take over that fourth quarter and become the team that we all thought they could be, they took over that fourth quarter, and that's the difference in the game. Like, let's face facts.
And they also did get screwed on that one fourth down play where it was.
Oh, where Riley got it?
First down.
He got it. I'm not going to, like, all refs, I was texting Evan the whole game, and, I don't want to ever blame the loss on a ref or anything like that, but they were trying like hell. A couple of those plays, they were taking that game away from those ND kids, man.
Yeah, though they could have called a couple other ones. There was that almost pass interference on one of our offensive wide receivers. They could have called that. They never did. So that was kind of good. But we saw, like you were just saying, they had that resilience in the second half. So while you and I were texting during the game, they made their adjustments.
That's what good teams are supposed to do. The coaches stepped up. We didn't see that a lot last year. They would make adjustments. Fucking Parker would never make adjustments. And they did. They got in that O-line. I like Mike Denbrock being on the sideline instead of up in that booth. I've never understood being in the booth. You're there. You're there on the field. You're there on the field. They need it. Freeman was fired up. The coaches didn't let us down. They made adjustments. That's what good football teams do. They played like doo-doo for 3 quarters. And I tell you one thing that they get an absolute F- on. They need to clean up these Raider-ass penalties, because that is bullshit. 11 penalties for 100 yards, maybe?
11 for 9.
Come on, man.
11
they had 100 yards passing. You're giving them the game, guys. Stop those stupid penalties, man.
So penalties was obviously the bad thing that the running game took a bit to start going too. So that was a problem.
Yeah, but they ended up with like 190 some odd yards on the ground.
Because
granted, and 5 points, but we had 2 big runs, Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love. I'm telling you,
and
give those cats the ball.
One taken back on what would have been a touchdown as well. So, which was a legit holding call. So
it was. It was. At first, it didn't look like it, but then you saw it. It was a hold.
Exactly.
Because after I was screaming, and then I saw it, and I was like, "Nah, it is." Right.
Even Heather, while we were watching the game, she's like, he's grabbing the inside of his pad, pulling.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
She was right. She was right.
Right.
But so that was good. Riley, I'm still not heaping a ton of praise on him, because if it wasn't for Greathouse's pass breakup, Riley throws a pick 6.
Yeah. Oh,
period.
That one. So going over opening game stats, he was 18 of 30, 158 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 12 carries, 63 yards.
That was good.
I actually put a poll in the We Are ND Nation group page the other day. What ranking would you give, or what star would you give on a 0 to 5 stars on Riley Leonard's performance on Saturday? What would
2.
you? I was at a 2.5.
I mean, yeah, he ran the ball, but they weren't running the ball at first. So that leads me to believe Denbrock saw something and then he adjusted, which was right, because they couldn't get the run. So that set the running play. because again, that their D line was loaded up. Now, what's his face? That all super stud. He didn't have any sacks. So Anthony Knapp and Pendleton, like, great job for your first starts. I hope you keep improving. Again, you can prove me wrong anytime. It's the only time I like being wrong is when it comes to Notre Dame football.
So go ahead.
But I'm just really glad the coaches stuck with it. And if they didn't, you know, who knows what that fourth quarter could have been like. And Texas A&M could have very easily got that win but they took over that fourth quarter. And that's what good teams do. They didn't seem tired. They must have had good conditioning because they didn't see him gassing. I saw a couple of O linemen on Texas A&M go down. They showed what's his ass. He was puking. Right. Yeah, he was puking. So they're talking about all this 100-degree heat, Texas. But yet the team from the north was definitely in better physical condition and ready for that heat and shit than the mighty Aggies and their 12th stupid man.
So not only did the offense kind of a little struggle, that defense though stuck it to
Woo!
Two interceptions, one by Aiden Schuler and our man Xavier Watts. That guy,
Xavier Watts,
defending,
going to give it to you.
Defending defensive player of the year. Though, let's go back to the question about coaches. So I kept hearing, was this Marcus Freeman's biggest win to date coaching Notre Dame? Go.
I will say yes, because yes, we beat Clemson 2 years ago. But we all saw, like, you know, that wasn't what was that Clemson team? No, that was 2020 with Kelly. But the next year, Freeman beat them because they were 4 or whatever. Remember?
Would have been 2022.
Right, his first year.
Yeah,
because he had a big, and then they tried to make a big deal last year because when we played USC, they were also in the top 10. They're at 7-0 or whatever, but then they went on to lose their last 5 games and they were shit. They didn't even finish ranked or anything. I mean, that team, you talk about smoke and mirrors team, but I'm not going to go into anything about Lincoln Riley and his whatever they are out there.
Well, I will say this is his biggest win to date just because of the fact you went into College Station and beat them. The second best, obviously, correct. My favorite would be USC last year when they smoked them.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a big win at all for the simple fact they finished 7-5.
Yeah. But
they're a shit team. Texas A&M could be a shit team this year. Right. They could end up going 7-5, 8-4. They might, you know, just because they were ranked 20 and it was the first game of the year. A lot of stuff. I mean, did anybody think Florida State was going to be 0-2? Did anybody think Clemson was going to? Oh my God. Except for Paul Feinbaum, he's the only one who's right.
So Florida State has dropped out of the top 25 completely.
You know, Clemson's dynasty is over. It would appear.
We'll talk a little bit more about Clemson here in a few minutes.
You know, but yeah, I think this is definitely their biggest win to date. The other ones I count because they at the time you can't control who you're playing at the time. You know, you play the team in front of you and stuff, but then it plays out. You know, that could, again, going into the playoffs, Notre Dame. You know, what if we're 12-0? I mean, and everyone will say we get a 5 seed, but if our record is crap and there's a super strong SEC team that finishes runner-up, they could get the 5th seed and we could get the 6th seed based on our weak-ass schedule.
Right.
So I'm just saying, everyone calm down. You know, don't get mad at Dennis. I'm just, you know how these idiots are at the end of the year. Florida State should have got in. Yes, it was the right choice. They didn't, but I would have given it to them just because they're a Power 5 conference and they went undefeated. One, you play with 11 guys, not one player.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they lost their star quarterback and stuff, but again, you know, nobody said that when Ohio State won the national championship with Cardell Jones, and he was their backup quarterback.
True.
Where the experts at? Where the experts at? Come on, ESPN. You know, so anyway, that's you know, I still think we got to go undefeated, and we got a good chance. There's a couple of games on it, but you know, this is a really good team. That defense is lights out. So that's my segue. Are we going into it?
We'll go into it, and I just want to throw one more little.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Out of Leonard's 18 completions, 9 of them went to different receivers. So that's great. Like that. To me, is good ball movement. Obviously, you had Bo Collins, who came in from Clemson. He had 5 catches, 62 yards. Just throw a few out there. Jadarian Price had a 47-yard TD run. Jeremiah Love a 21-yard touchdown run. Those were awesome ending runs for touchdowns to kind of put everything away. That kind of broke Texas A&M's spirit for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Because they were. I mean, the offense struggled a little bit. Riley Leonard needs to be more accurate. He's just not very accurate. And I was at first, like the first half, I was pulling my hair out because I was like, all right, either he's got the Drew Pine arm and can't push can't push the ball downfield, or they're just calling this like Weiss a la 2005 and 6, where they just throw the wide receiver every other freaking play. I was losing my head. I was like, can you push the ball downfield?
You and I.
And they finally made adjustments, but I was like, is Riley Leonard got a spaghetti arm or what? I was like, help me out.
We were going back and forth with that. Why is every pass a swing pass? Or why is every
It was driving me nuts.
It wasn't really even a screen. It was a swing pass.
I think it was maybe to alleviate the pass rush, and they had to bring in, you kept saying, why didn't go the tight ends? They had to bring the tight ends. I'd like to see the tight ends get more involved. I guess Mitchell Evans is like not as 100% as everyone thought he was going into the season. So,
all right. So do we want to go into our idiot of the week or fan questions next? Let's do fan questions last.
We'll do fan questions last. All right, go for it. You want me to go first?
Well, let's do this. We got our idiot of the week. That is that we're doing. We're kind of scrapping our name that former ND player this week, at least this week, since we don't have a guest. But this idiot of the week is actually brought to you by our other podcast, an idiot sports fandom, which eventually we will kind of bring back. But yeah, we each pick basically an idiot of the week. Dennis picked one early in the week. I did as well. Dennis, I'll let you go first with your idiot.
My first one is, and I didn't get to watch it because I'm going to try to boycott College Game Day all year as much as I can, because I really can't. It's unwatchable to me anymore. The shenanigans and the shtick and everything, it's just silly. So Saban, I guess, was on there saying the Notre Dame defense, the secondary specifically, was going to get exposed or whatever. I don't know the exact words. I have to look at the clip, but I know he was talking shit. Hello, coach. I can see why you're behind the desk now next to fucking McAfee and the others, because you got that so wrong on so many levels. And you had ESPN, Paul Feinbaum, all these experts saying how elite the Notre Dame secondary is. So thanks for your 12 years and all your titles, but I'm glad you're on the set of ESPN Game Day and not on the sideline, because you're just becoming an out of touch old man.
I'm wondering what he was watching.
I don't know, but
last year,
our defense is. I'm being an ultimate homer right now, but those DBs are loaded. So Nick Saban, you're the idiot of the week.
I mean, not just loaded; they're elite, and that makes
elite, man. They are fucking good.
Just because, starts with Xavier Watts. Defensive player.
Ben Morrison, hello.
Ben Morrison.
Christian Gray breaking up the last play. I mean, stop, dude. Adon Schuler coming in. Just stop, man. You throw in Jaden Mickey. Like, just this guy, I don't know what he was doing, but maybe he should spend a little more time with Miss Terry at home. And, I don't know. But anyway, that's my idiot of the week. Way to go, coach.
Dennis's idiot of the week is Nick Saban. Mine is Dabo Swinney. Sweeney, whatever the fuck his name is. And here's why. They got waxed on Saturday. I forgot what Walloped. They only scored 3 points.
3 points.
So what I heard, and we all kind of know this watching college football over the years, he does not like to utilize the transfer portal at all. He says it's not necessary. He's going to develop from within. But left and right, we got mother effers leaving Clemson to go everywhere else. He hasn't brought any player in yet. I thought I heard there were 4 teams that have not brought in a player out of the transfer portal. You ready to hear who these are?
I can't wait.
Army, Navy, Air Force, Clemson.
And Clemson?
Well, the other 3 you can't, because those are service fucking.
That's a riot. Wow.
The game
Clemson is a service academy. Clemson's a service school now.
Dabo,
that's pathetic.
The game has passed by.
Has passed you by, Dabo.
Either get with it,
get on, or get off. Because
get on or get off. It's like Dennis with Game Day. He's either going to watch it or he's not. One of the
right, and that's the choice.
Right now, he's deciding he's not to watch it. So Dabo doesn't want to dabble. Dabo doesn't want to dabble into. If I had teeth,
Nice.
it would sound better, but it is what it is. But yeah, since he's not even utilizing the transfer portal, he is getting left behind. So there's my idiot of the week, Dabo
Good
Sweeney.
one, Ev. Good one. Good
So
one.
I got
And we
one.
might even have a runner-up coming up.
Actually, I do have a runner-up. I do have one runner-up. Anybody who bashes Kirk Herbstreit for having his dog on the set.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was getting hammered on Twitter. I think.
Why, though? But they're okay with McAfee taking his shirt off.
Well, here's why. So
I'd rather have the dog on set.
put this poor dog in a closed-in airplane, and he's on the set, and he has to be caged up. He wasn't caged up. The dog's walking around, standing there with the rest of the people on the show. So,
well, that's like saying maybe he brings his dog with him because his kids are grown. So they're telling me when he traveled with younger kids that he would put them in a kennel and check them in the whole 5 bag in the back of the airplane. No, he's probably bringing the dog on because all these idiots now have to have their emotional support animal with them. And, they can't even go to the bathroom without their animal, So maybe that's what it is. He wants to bring his dog, Just tell McAfee to keep his shirt on.
There you go. So, yeah. Come on.
They should be more upset about that.
I'm not mad about Pat taking his shirt off. I know you are because you and I were talking about it.
I mean, again, it's like I was saying last week. I don't need his shtick.
Totally get it. I totally get it.
But and people are watching it, and it's great. And I'm sure it was great in the moment and stuff. But it's just not for me. I don't have to watch it. I'm not going to tune in.
There you go.
I'm an adult. I can make that choice. It's just like cats who don't like our show sometimes because we are swearing too much. Guess what? Don't watch it. Like, it's that simple.
You can turn it off.
It's so simple. You don't like something? Don't watch it.
Exactly. But yet they complain and they will do.
Yeah, and then they get on a platform. And so this is why everyone to ND Nation, this is why Dennis, I'm sorry, I refer to myself in the third person. This is why I'm not on social media. Sorry for that. That was really stupid. This is why I'm not on social media, and this is my only platform. And sometimes I go on little rants because it's the only way I get it out. Because my opinion doesn't matter. I'm a chef. This is Evan and I having fun. I give my opinion to him, and that's it.
This is what you and I would do.
This is what we do. This is all. We're giving you a glimpse of our life if we were just living together 20 years ago still, watching college football.
And if you were there last Thursday when Dennis and I were actually hanging out for the first
physically, because I got back from Chicago. Yeah,
so
that was awesome.
We did that, and we were talking some mad shit all day. If we had a camera on us and we had recording going on, it would have been an awesome.
It'd been quality programming.
But we also would have been canceled. So whatever, all good. So we got some fan questions. So we haven't done fan questions in a while. I finally got it.
I like it.
We're going to bring in a couple. These people aren't going to be live. I'm just bringing these off of what the group is. So it's the We Are ND Nation fan group off of our Instagram or Facebook page. So we got one from Jeff Kent who asks, why do supposed supporters of Notre Dame badmouth our coaches? Dennis?
Well, one is because
I don't think it was mentioned to you, but it was just overall.
We're allowed to, and because as a fan base, I think you can criticize your team if you spend exorbitant amounts of money to see them shit the bed or spend money on their merchandise or taking the time out of my day when I could be riding my motorcycle, but I'd rather do this silly podcast with my good friend Evan here. So that's why I can bash the coaches. And maybe it's a little bit better because now when you think about it, when I'm, in my late 40s, almost soon to be 50, it's kind of shitty if we're bagging on 18-year-old kids. But the coaches are men, so they can take it. So I can rip the shit out of grown-ass men, right?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Right. Well, so then I'm coming at you there, pal. Because if you shit the game in the fourth quarter, I got some words for you, Marcus Freeman. Not going to attack anybody personally, but I'm going to say, what did you do? It's like last year. He didn't get a pass when he had 10 men on the field when he should have had 11 on there, right?
Yep.
So that's why.
Also bashed Parker left and right.
Oh, well, that guy deserved all kinds of bashing.
So like you said, it is deserved, and it's a
criticism.
It's an opinion as well. We aren't going personally at these people. We're just stating what we see.
Well, I kind of like a little personally. If I had the chance, I would have told Parker to stay in the locker room and go wherever last year. But again, he's a man. He's a grown, he could take it, right?
40 man.
And but it's good, But I think as a supporter, isn't that part of sports?
Yeah.
I mean, as a fan, not criticize. where would fan bases be? I mean, he sounds like he's a fan of Chicago teams because he must never bash any Chicago teams when every fan in Chicago has the right to bash every single team in that town up and down and then some because they constantly give the worst product in the third largest market.
There you go. And the word fanatic. Fan.
Fanatic. Fan.
There you go.
So
you can be
that,
a fanatic. You could do stuff.
You can still be a supporter. Like your kid makes a dumb decision. It takes the keys to the car when he knows he's not supposed to. You're just, you're not going to support him anymore. Maybe that's apples and oranges, a stupid analogy. But anyway, you get the gist.
I do. Great question by Jeff. There are a lot of people.
Yeah, Jeff Kent.
I do see a lot of people on these groups, and I know I've mentioned it over the times doing this show. There are some that are just downright either idiotic or mean. That's where the mean stuff kind of get away from because I'm not.
I've been mean before, maybe not knowing it.
I would not say you've been really mean. You haven't gone after family or.
Oh no! Why would I go after somebody's family? They got nothing to do with calling plays.
Do that.
Well, see, that's just. Well, that's the makeup of our society where we're at right now. Going back to social media.
I got one more question as of right now. Actually, I'm getting some text messages from our buddy Julian.
All right, we can ask him live. I love it.
He was asking, "What are we doing a podcast today?" I'm like, "We're actually doing it right now." So, Julian, when you're watching this, that's when you're texting me, is like literally right at this moment. So, I asked him the question. He hasn't gotten back to me, but let's go. They
want the inside scoop.
So we'll go to our second question. Brad Buddy, Budde from the group asks, how does Notre Dame avoid a letdown after week 1? Dennis, since Northern Illinois is coming to South Bend, what do you think?
Tell them that they haven't proven a thing. They haven't done. Okay, great. You went down to Texas A&M in a hostile environment, considered like the 4th toughest place to play, 1st toughest place. They were doing that all night. Chris Fowler's a joke, by the way. But anyway, they went down to a super hard environment and they got the win, and it was a great win, and it was gutty and gritty, and all those great adjectives and cool buzzwords they use, but they haven't proven anything. And for a team that doesn't have a conference championship to play for, they have got to be perfect. They had a slop, they can have a game where they have a bad game. I think they might have a worse game than they had, for 3 quarters, they were just kind of average subpar. Texas A&M didn't have the guns to load, but maybe Louisville, if they play that kind of game against Louisville or even University against spoiled children, they could lose that game. And they haven't done anything. They can't take anybody for granted, even though they're hearing all the outside noise of, man, number five. They're going undefeated. Fans are just drinking the Kool-Aid and ready to anoint Marcus Freeman, to the top of the Golden Dome, and rightfully so. I am so excited and so happy for Marcus Freeman, and he's such a better personality and everything than BK was. And I don't hate BK like a lot of right. That's where I was going. Like a lot of people hate Brian Kelly, but I bet you Brian Kelly's sitting there like, damn, did I pull out too soon? So anyway.
3 years in a row, Brian Kelly has started 0-1.
0-1, man.
2 years it was.
So that's how I think you avoid a letdown. Like, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't believe your hype. Obviously, you're a good football team, but let's go out there and show that we're a good football team and demolish NIU. But NIU is not to sleep on. Anybody can play spoiler this weekend because obviously people see how good this Notre Dame team can be, and people are going to come in to South Bend and give it their best.
Well, it was 2 years ago when I was it the Marshall game that they lost?
There you go, man. There you go.
People expected them to win because they played well against Ohio State that first game. Second game, they come home, major letdown, and they lose. So for me, how to avoid that letdown is do exactly the opposite of what they did at that Marshall game. Is you actually have to play this game as a almost preseason game. I hate to say it because you don't usually have preseason games in college football, but this is kind of what that is. This is your ramp up game. So this is where you let it all out and you kind of just go at it and put points on the board. They did that last year against Tennessee State. Hopefully they can do it this year as well. I got one more question. I did get one from
Oh,
Julian.
sweet. Awesome. Yeah, let's go.
Julian Rosales, a buddy of ours who watches every one of these,
Whoop, whoop.
who I will see on Saturday at the NIU game. He asks, anyone believe that Notre Dame will now go undefeated? Do you think
I'm still going to stick with my 11-1 prediction just because it's very, 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 very hard to go 12-0. I mean, even if you have a soft schedule, they're young men. You have letdowns. You have coaching lapses. Yeah, I'll stick with it. Yes, they can. But I just so I can, not because I can be right, because I'd rather them go undefeated, but it's just really hard to go undefeated.
it is? And
But then again, I had them going undefeated. I had them losing that game last week and running the table. So I guess, I guess now they're going to go undefeated. If I still, like I said, that Louisville team is looking a little bit tougher. And as much as SC won that game against LSU, LSU lost that game. If you look at the numbers and stuff, LSU had mad yards. SC still doesn't have a defense. And all USC could was pass the ball because they couldn't run the ball.
there you go. So and I'm sticking with my 11-1 as well. So I'm thinking they're not going to go, even though I am hearing, oh my God, everywhere I've seen, even on the 670 The Score, the guys in the morning are like, Notre Dame won against Texas A&M. They're just going to run the table. I'm like, I can't say they will. So
I mean,
still sticking with my one loss to Georgia Tech, even though it might not be them, it might be to somebody else. But I'm also saying 11-1. I'm sticking with my preseason pick last week that we did with Matt Shelton. By the way, check out his book. So there you go.
I got a question for the fan question. Dennis Stover from Brooklyn. My question is, how many times on this silly broadcast on Saturday are they going to talk about Riley Leonard's "Mom, you suck" bracelet silliness? Because I'm sick of that.
I didn't see that.
She always get happy because she'll call him up before the game and be like, "You suck," and like to keep him humble. And
I gotcha.
Oh, and then they wear a bracelet, and I'm just like, do I have to hear another one of these Tom
All right,
Rinaldi
so I'll go. Let's
fucking
do
stories?
It'll be over under 1.5.
I'll take the over, and they're going to mention it like 3 times.
All right, you gotta let me know because I won't be watching it since I'll be there.
Oh, right, you'll be there. I'll let you know. And I'm glad it's on Peacock this week because apparently Disney and DirecTV can't get their shit together. Figure it out, man, because you're missing a whole. You know how many people are missing this shit because of your stupid contracts?
Yep. So before we get into our prediction for this week's game, let's do other games that you're looking at watching. There's one huge one Saturday that both you and I were looking at, and that is Michigan and
Hook 'em horns.
Texas.
Go Texas, and I want you to obliterate this Skunk Bear team.
So that's
and bring it back down to earth.
So that's the big one of the week. There's a few other ones. There's what was it? Colorado at Nebraska. There was Iowa State at Iowa.
Iowa State. You have NC State at Tennessee, or vice versa.
Oh yeah,
but that's still a big game.
That should be fun because I'll be there the next week after that.
Yeah.
Kent State game, so that should be a lot of fun as well. So those are just a few of the other games that we will be watching, or at least I'll be getting the highlights out of once I get home. All right, predictions for Saturday. I'm gonna have you go first. Notre Dame, number 5, Notre Dame at home opener against Northern Illinois.
Notre Dame should maybe they'll be a little high on themselves at first, but then they'll wake up and kick it into gear. You can't sleep on NIU. They've played spoiler before in games in years past when Jerry Kill was their manager or their coach manager, etc. So I'll say Notre Dame by like 2 scores, 14, maybe more.
So you just say 14?
Yeah, these score predictions are ridiculous. I mean,
okay, there's Saban. All right, Saban, we get it.
38 to 20. No, not even. They're not going to even get up 20 points. 38 to 13.
There you go. I like that one better. 38-13. Dennis picks that. I'm just going to go over the spread and the total what they have here. So Notre Dame is favored by 28 points.
Yeah.
Over under is 44.5. So there you go. My total, I have Notre Dame winning this game, which I said last week. I have it 42-10.
Woo!
So
Nice, man.
putting up some numbers, and for some reason,
Let's hope so.
I'm not saying they're going to get a lucky touchdown, but they might get like field position and then kind of get something and then a field goal at some point.
Yeah, again, it could be, it could be a strip sack. It could be,
Texas
like I
A&M
said,
scored last week.
exactly. Riley Leonard. Again, if it was for Jaden Greathouse becoming a defensive back on that play, that dude is at pick 6, man. See, he had another one too that he shouldn't have thrown. So he still has to show me some things. I'm not jumping on his "you suck" bandwagon, and I refuse to wear those bracelets.
Oh man. Anything else before we go?
No, man, it was a good show. Great win again. Just because we're supporters, and I had legit, going back to that question, I had legit concerns because let's face facts. They're breaking in a new line with 6 starts collectively amongst the 5. So I think as a fan, I should be like, hey, coach, are you sure you're making the right decision? Yes, I have egg in my face. That's why I'm sitting here in my apartment in Brooklyn and not at Notre Dame coaching kids. So.
Yeah, and I know you and I slept really well Saturday night, not together, but overall.
Damn right. Damn right.
Yeah, I even messaged Dennis when I got home. I was like, I know you're going to sleep well, so am I. And you're like, damn right. So there you go.
I was very excited. I am so happy. This is the one time in my life where I love to be wrong. And they can prove me wrong every freaking time. Please, I will happily accept it.
And hopefully come January 20th or whatever the date is, we can all be proven wrong and see Notre Dame in another championship game. Hopefully it'll happen. But you never know. We still got.
Maybe I'll submit a question next week to our fan question.
We got 11 regular season weeks left to kind of get through the season, and NFL kicks off tonight. Go Eagles! It's going to be Eagles Bengals in the Super Bowl. So there you go.
Maybe I'll propose a question to the fans, and they can answer for us in the replies or whatever.
Oh, you can.
So my question to them is: does Notre Dame? Shit, what was it now? I just forgot. Damn it! It was a good one too. Oh, if Notre Dame goes 12-0 or 11-1 and gets that first round game at home, is it a disappointing season if they lose that playoff game?
Ooh, I like that.
I have an answer, but I'll answer it next week. And maybe some fans want to answer that as well. So you can reply, send in your questions also, man.
I will. I'll put that in there, and then we'll.
You know what I mean?
We'll do like a 50% kind of back and forth. See what it is.
Yeah, see, because I love that we got 3 questions this week. Thank you, Julian and Jeff and Brad. Go Irish, you rock.
Go Irish. So until next week, I want to thank you guys for all watching and listening. You can check out We Are ND Nation. We have a website, wearendnation.com. We're on the social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We have merch, which I still have to buy for myself and for you. So I don't know what the hell is taking.
Yeah, you ask me a shirt size every year, and I still don't have a shirt.
There you go. But anyway, make sure you also join our We Are ND Nation group chat as well. There's over almost 1,000 people in there, so that's
awesome.
Yeah, and like you said, socials, merch, everything like that. So until next week, we got Northern Illinois coming to Notre Dame. Dennis, you have a great week, my man.
You too. Go Irish.
Go Irish.
I got nobody to F this week. I don't know. So yeah, fuck the Skunk Bears.
Fuck the NFL.
Yeah, that too.